Hello, my name is Rasik Prajapati and my roll number is 18PC184, and this is the innovative assignment for design and analysis of the algorithm, and my topic is white path theorem, which is one of the property of the TFS algorithm, and there are many application of the white path theorem, especially for the proof of the many algorithms. So we will first discuss about the basic terminologies we have used in these slides. So in the terminology, the first one is a DFS, which is the depth first search. A depth first search is a classic algorithm for the graph traversal. So in the depth first search, first we take the root, then we visit all the adjacent vertices of that root, and when we have visited all the vertices, we backtrack to the root. In this way, we traverse the entire graph. While traversing the graph, we make two timestamps. First is the u dot t, which is the discovery time of the u, at u dot s with f, which is the finishing time of the vertex u. Discovery time is the time when we first visit the vertex u, and finishing time is when we leave the vertex u, which means we have visited all the adjacent vertices of the u, and now we are popping it from the stack. So first of all white, all the vertices are white colored. So a white color vertices means that it is not discovered yet. That means they are unvisited vertices, which means that they have been never put into the stack. So when we visit a vertex, then we mark it with a gray color. So a vertex with a gray color means that it is discovered and it is still in the stack. And when we visit all the vertices of that visited all the adjacent vertices of that vertex, we marked it with a black color and we popped it out from the stack. So a black color vertices means that we have visited all the vertices of that vertex. So now we will see one example of the TFS algorithm. So now let us see one example of the TFS algorithm. So first of all, we will take the U as our root node. So we start from the root node U, we mark it with a gray color, and then we put it into the stack, and we mark the discovery time of the U as 0. So for then whenever we take the next step, we will increment the time counter by 1. So next we will visit the adjacent vertex of the U, which is the V. We mark the V with a gray color and we put it into the stack, and we mark the discovery time of the V as 1. Then we will put the U into the, then we put the W, which is the adjacent vertex of the V, into the stack, and we mark the discovery time of the W as a 2. Now we have visited all the adjacent vertices of the W. So we pop the W out of the stack and we mark it with a black color, and we mark the finishing time of the W as a 3. We have visited all the vertices of the V. So we popped it from the stack and we mark it with a black color, and we mark the finishing time of the V as the 4. Then we backtrack to the U and we have visited all the adjacent vertices of the U. So we popped it out from the stack and marked it with a black color, and the finishing time of the U is 5. So when we have traversed the entire graph, the stack will be empty. Now let us see the theorem, the white path theorem. The theorem says that in the depth first forest, a depth forest is a collection of the DFS trees which we have discovered during the traversal of a graph. We connect those trees with a dummy node, and that is called as a depth first forest. So in a depth first forest of a directed or undirected graph, E equal to V comma E, where V is a set of the vertices and E is a set of edges. Vertex V is a descendant of the vertex U if and only if that at the time U dot D. So when we discover the U, there is a path from U to V entirely consisting of white vertices. So this means that a vertex V is a descendant of the vertex U if and only if there is a path connecting all the unvisited vertices to the from U to V. And the reverse is also true. If there is a path from U to V connecting all the unvisited vertices, which means white vertices, then V is a descendant of the So now we will see the example for this. So at the time u dot d, the u is not visited yet, so it will be white colored. So there is a path from u to v consisting entirely of the white nodes, and we are not saying that the algorithm will follow this path. Algorithm can follow this path also, but after the execution of the algorithm, the v will be the descendant of the u. That's what the theorem says. So using the white path theorem, we can say that v is a descendant of the u. Let us take the another example. So this is the graph. So first we will take u as our root node. We visit u to y, then y to x. Now we have visited all the vertices of the x, so we backtrack to y, then we backtrack to u. So this is the end of the algorithm. But we still have some unvisited nodes. So we take z as the next root, and then we visit the v. So there are the two DFS trees. The first one is this, and the second one is this. Connect both with a W node, and this is the DFS forest for this graph. So now we can see that uh, there is no path from Z to X entirely consisting of the white node. So we cannot say that the X is a descendant of the Z, but it depends on the how we create a DFS forest. If we choose another node as a root of the DFS tree, then there can be the another traversal also, and that can result can differ in that case. But in this case, there is no path entirely consisting of the white nodes from Z to X. So X is not a descendant of the Z. Let us see a proof for this algorithm. For the proof, we will assume the P as a statement. Vertex V is a descendant of the vertex U, and Q as a statement. There is a path from U to V consisting entirely of the white vertices at the time U dot D. So we will first prove the P implies Q, then we will prove the Q implies P. So for the P implies Q, we suppose that V is a descendant of the U, and there is a path from U to V in the DFS tree. So there is a U and the V, and there is a path from U to V in the DFS tree. So we have to prove that this path is entirely consisting of the white vertices. So for the first case, we assume that the U is equal to V. So there is only one vertex in the U, which is still white at the U dot D as previously shown. So there is a path from U to V entirely consisting of white nodes. So if we say that the V is a proper descendant of U, like situation like this, then we can say that V is still white at the time U dot D, because we have assumed that the V is a descendant of the U. So by the parenthesis theorem, we can say that this is U dot D is the discovery time of U. This is U dot F, the discovery time finishing time of the U. This is V dot D, discovery time of D, and V dot F, discovery finishing time of the V. So we are at the U dot D. So we are not visited the V at this time. So we can say that the uh, V is still white at the time U dot D. So now V can be the any descendant of the U at the time U dot D. So any descendant of the U is white at the U dot D. So there will be a path entirely consisting of the white nodes from U to V. So we prove the theorem, the first part P implies Q. Now we will prove the second part Q implies P. We will use the contradiction for that. So suppose this is false. So there exists a path from U to V entirely consisting of white vertices, but V is not a descendant of the U. So let us assume the scenario where every vertex, every adjacent descendant, every vertex from U except the V is a descendant of the U. So like if there is a path from U to V consisting of U W1, W2, WK, and then V, then all the vertex W1, W2, WK are descendant of the U, but V is not descendant of the U. So we can say that V is the closest vertex of the U, which is not a descendant of the U. So because V is not a descendant U, this will be a disjoint pair of the parentheses. So we can say that this is U dot D, which is the discovery time of U dot F, finishing time of V dot D, discovery time of V, and V dot F, finishing time of V. So both are clearly disjoint. So this condition shows that the uh, V is not a descendant of the U. So now we assume the path like this. So now we assume that the U to V path entirely consists of the white vertices, and all the vertices W2K WQ vertices are the descendant of the U. So we assume that this path is entirely consisting of the white vertices, and all the vertices WK W2 are the descendant of the U. So according to the parenthesis theorem, we can say that the discovery time and finishing time of the W will entirely within the timestamp of the U. So and it can be equal to the U also if there is a special case when U is equal to WK, which means there is uh, only one node from U to V. So there can be the timestamp of the U will be equal to the timestamp of a WK. So now we have the two conditions. From that two condition, we can make the third condition, which is WK dot D is less than WK dot F, less than V dot D is less than V dot F. So, however, since we know that we from the assumption we know that there is a edge from WK to V. So, if we take the WK dot D less than V dot D like this, then we must have V dot D less than WK dot F. Uh, because V comes after the WK, the discovery time of the V will be less than the finish time of the W. But we have a contradiction here because our condition say that the WK finishing time of the WK is less than the discovery time of vertex V. So we have the contradiction. So we got that our assumption is false and V is a descendant of U. So in this way, we prove both the way P implies Q and Q implies P. So the theorem is right. So now see some of the application of the white path theorem. So the first application is the cycle detection. The graph is acyclic if DFS yield no back edges. So what is a back edge? The back edge is a edge in the graph which connects the child to its ancestor. So how we can detect the back edge from uh, in the graph using the white path theorem. So at the time u dot d, when we assume that the u is the first vertex in the cycle which we visit. So at the time u dot d, when we are visiting the vertex u, all the nodes in the cycle will be white. So we can see that there is a path from u to v entirely consisting of the white nodes. So v is a descendant of the u according to the white path theorem. So this edge from V to U is a back edge from child to ancestor. So and if there is a self loop, then it will be also called as a back edge in the directed graph. So we prove that if there is a cycle in the graph, then there will be at least one back edge from child to the ancestor according to the white path theorem. The second application of the white path theorem is the topological sort. So in the topological sort, we orders the vertices in the linear ordering. Uh, if U connects to the V, then U will come first in the linear ordering. So if the graph contains a cycle, there cannot be a linear ordering. So topological sort will not work there. So here we can say that when we apply a DFS on this graph using the U as a root vertex, then first we will visit the V because now we have visited the V, all the adjacent vertices of the V are visited. So we put the V in front of the linked list. Now we again backtrack to the U, then we visit the W, and we have visited all the vertices of the W. So we put the W at the front of the linked list, and then we go to U, and then we put the U at the front of the linked list. So this is the algorithm for the topological sort, and at last we return the linked list of the vertices. So our claim is that the output list of the legal topological sort of the directed acyclic graph. So this out we have to prove that this output list is the legal topological sort. So to prove that, we have to prove that the every vertex u to v such that there is a edge from u to v, then the finishing time of v is less than the finishing time of the u. So we can observe that the edge uv explored in the DFS, when we explore the edge u to v, v cannot be gray. V cannot be gray because that means that the v is still in the stack, and this will indicate a back edge. And because there is a we have proved that there is a package, then there is a cycle in the graph. So graph is not acyclic, so we cannot apply the topological sort, so v cannot be gray. So another condition that v is white, then according to the white path theorem, v is a descendant of the u because there is a clear path from u to v entirely consisting of the white nodes. So so because v is a descendant of the u, then of course the v dot finishing time of the v will be less than the finishing time of the u according to the parenthesis theorem. So if we say that the v is a black, that means it is finished before the u started. So v dot f will be less than the u dot f again. So we prove that the output list is the legal topological sort. Another application of the white path theorem is a strongly connected component. So a strongly connected component is simply all the vertices which are interconnected, and you can go from every vertex to the every vertex in both the direction, forward and reverse, in the directed graph. So this is the one strongly connected component, this is another, and this is another. Now our claim is that if there are two strongly connected component C and C0, and there is a edge from U to V where U is in the C and V is in the C0, then the finishing time of the C will be less than the finishing time of the C0. So first we assume that the discovery time of C is less than discovery time of the C0. So we can clearly see that there is a path containing all the white nodes. There is a path containing all the white node from every vertex of C to every vertex of the C0. So it's clearly the C0 is descendant of the C. So the finishing time of the C0 will be less than the finishing time of the C. If we say that the discovery time of the C0 is less than the discovery time of C, then also we can, because the UV belongs to E, that we can say that the vertex of the C are not visited, cannot be reachable by the vertex of the C0 because there is no edge from V to U. So when we have visited all the vertex of the C0, the vertex of the C still be unvisited. So they will be visited after this, after the C0. The finishing time of the C will be greater than the finishing time of the C0. And this white path theorem is a dependency for the Kosa-Rajus theorem for the Kosa-Rajus algorithm for finding the strongly connected component in the graphs. The another application of the white path theorem can be in finding the minimum cost spanning tree, and many other algorithms. White path theorem is a dependency for that algorithm. So with this I conclude my presentation. So and my roll number is 18PC184. Thank you.